Sup guys, I'm AUSSIE METALHEAD. I'm doing 150 classic albums by the end of the year. I'm also doing Patreon requests and new releases. And Genesis Owusu released a new album. I haven't heard any songs by them. I didn't know anything about them until my Discord told me about them, and also spoke about how they see him at their fast food restaurants in Canberra sometimes, and he seems like a chill guy. So I thought might as well check it out. Also, it seems like he has a lot of like critical support when it comes from like music publications and that sort of thing, especially. And also, I find him pretty cool because I looked up his Wikipedia and he has a Bachelor of Journalism. I'm about to complete my Bachelor of Journalism. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm going, obviously, with that being said, with all of that being said, I am going incredibly blind if the only thing I know about him is the Wikipedia page. So, yeah, I'm curious to see how it goes. Apparently, he mixes like post-punk and shit like that with political hip-hop, which will be kind of cool. I'm expecting it to be like the closest I can think of is maybe like JPEG Mafia sort of stuff. But yeah, let's see how it goes. Alright. Very like 2020s like electro sort of stuff.
Life on pirate radio, you stand outside my stadium, one step outside your cranium. Mine been burnt by blue check mania. Your ping pong brain been noited, dog Nazi flutes been voided. You bite my flesh in protest, you know my blood's anointed. Deep pools of mass hysteria, front flips mental contusion. Two pay totalitarians, I call them fucking losers. These grifters grease their palms now, my hands just sweat and malice. I bang the gong with hammer, blood fingers grip their chalice. Psychosomatic, no natural pain. Psychosomatic, no natural pain. Psychosomatic, no natural pain. Psychosomatic, no natural pain. Elon's a fucking weirdo who gave these incels moolah. Spit out your threats and slurs, kid. I'll show you something crueler. I'll show you something nasty. Inward and deep reflection. These parties closer to a graveyard than a fucking pension. I pay too much attention. My wallet, skin and bones, yo. How much verification to show you're a fucking bozo? Your Senate brands and logos flooded with
I like the lasers in the back.
I can't wait to use it.
I'm gonna pause it here. I find this to be so interesting to me because there feels like there's so many different things going on. Like with my Discord, right? They know that I've spoken so fucking much about how like in 2025 I listened to 300 albums and there was nothing to do with anything that's going on like politically, which annoyed me because I was like, bro, if you go back to like 90s, 80s, 70s, if you go What's Going On by Marvin Gaye, if you go to fucking any 90s hip-hop record, they're going to be referencing shit. If you go to even just 20 years ago to Lupe Fiasco's Food and Liquor, he's mentioning Bush. If you go to even System of a Down, they're BYOB on Mesmerize, calling out Barbara Bush, the First Lady. And so that sort of like overt political shit, I very much appreciate. There's also a mixture. They thought I would, and I've also said that I'd want to delve into Oz hip hop, but when I think of Oz hip hop, I think of like all of the shit that every single person that I know that grew up in like housing commission and like around me, because I grew up in rural Australia with a disabled single mum shit. So on like Sunlink, and like everyone was listening like Curse It, Chillin' It and stuff like that. And I wanted to delve deeper into that, but because they're from America, they didn't know that this is definitely different to like the typical Oz hip hop from like housing, like Eshe rap. It's a lot different to Eshe rap. But because they have both of those two things, they thought this would be a perfect fit, because I do want to actually listen to some Eshe rap that delves into like some like proper shit as well, and I want to delve into it like broadly as all that preamble to say, I love how blatant the like political like things are, like calling out Elon being a fucking weirdo, talking about let me backtrack to read some lyrics, like talking about like they got close to a graveyard, so it's a bunch of old fuckers that are ruining us, like who gave these incels a lot of money, all of this sort of shit, like pointing out these very important sort of things. But I find it interesting coming into this with like, oh, the Oz hip hop sort of context, and the fact that this is political hip hop. It feels interesting that an Australian talking about this, and I'm like, for whatever reason, it's stopping it from hitting as hard, because it feels more online if it comes from like an Australian talking about like Elon Musk. But like if I'm thinking about like political hip hop, what I'm hoping for is to hear Australian hip hop artists talk about the current administration, or talking about like our fucking country and how we're doing bullshit. And if I go to America, I want to, like, with their sort of stuff, like Vince Staples in the most recent thing that Crybaby that came out today. I fucking love that. It was a breath of fresh air, because like he's talking about his experience in that sort of thing. And I will admit, we live in a more globalized world when it comes to Twitter and all that sort of shit. So all of this like racism, narcissism and shit is popping off in fucking everywhere, especially in Australia with like One Nation and shit like that. But maybe I'm like putting the cart before the horse or whatever too much with this, but I would appreciate more if it was referencing shit in Australia. Like, there is a rise of fucking insane racism and shit like that, fucking Nazis as well in Australia, but if there's no references to the Australian shit, like let's say the fucking immigration march or One Nation or anything like that, it feels a bit odd. It's like, oh, why are we being so focused? Why are we so American focused? Which I understand, America is the biggest fucking country on the planet, and I think this needs to be focused on that. I want more people to talk about Trump and his dictatorial shit. I wanted to see people talk about how fucked ICE is. I want to see people talk about how fucking losery cunty Elon Musk is. But it feels like there is not much opportunity, or not many people that are talking about like the shit that's happening in Australia, which is bad, which is a symptom of American stuff for sure. But like, not many people are talking about all of that, so it feels like we have limited space to talk about this shit. And it feels like if there's a political hip hop like Australian artist, I would want, like, there's such little platform to talk about any proper stuff, and it feels like if Genesis has this platform to talk about political stuff, sorry to, I don't know, is it my place to critique? Who gives a fuck? But it would be cooler to see a political hip hop artist in Australia talk about Australian shit that's really fucking bad, especially because we have such a deep fucking fucked history when it comes to like Aboriginal rights and all that sort of shit. So yeah, it's to talk, basically I'm saying all of this to point out that like I'm coming into this with clearly like different assumptions and biases coming in, relating to all of the stuff I talk about with like Oz hip hop, political hip hop, that sort of thing. And that could be shading any of my opinions when it comes to this record, because I have like a growing frustration with the current like music landscape of not being able to talk about real shit. And this clearly is talking about it, but I might have like qualms where like I would want it to be focused more on us, you know? But he's talking about the worldwide scourge, which makes sense. Like, if it's just broad, and then it comes up. Like, I'm sorry, like, if he's talking about worldwide, and he's talking about, like, how this is all fucking everything up worldwide, and, like, crossing pirate radio, that sort of shit, and then he, like, delves into more individual tracks about, like, our country, then I think this is perfectly fucking valid. But if it only stays on, like American politics or like foreign politics, it's like, all right, that feels a bit online. I do love how fucking blatant this shit is. I do love the lyrics though. That's solid. If you haven't watched one of my videos before, I do ratings on the side. These are my first listen ratings. I listen to these projects multiple times over before I post them to my Discord. My head's a bit weird. You can chat to me about my ratings on my Discord. I'm always active in there. I try and make it a fucking normal community. So there's like less totally online shit in there. But I do allow some people to be like, you know, Zoomers. There are like 15, 16-year-olds in there, so they can bounce around, you know, music fans, all that shit. But yeah, I also post the album of the year, which is the music rating website I use. It says 600 reviews. I've done about 1,400 in the past year and a bit. Before this channel existed, about a year and a half ago, I listened to maybe 10 albums across my entire life. That was Linkin Park, Bring the Horizon, that sort of stuff. And then I started this channel to delve into like classic albums for the first time, mostly to do with like stuff that like my family wanted me to listen to my entire life, which was like Pink Floyd, Nirvana, their favorite shit. But then I really just wanted to delve into a shit ton of hip hop stuff, so I delved into like Nas, fucking Tupac, all that sort of The Roots, all that jazz, and absolutely loved all of them. D'Angelo, yeah. And over the course of those 1,400 albums, I've got an average rating of a 6 out of 10. I solely think that's because of my Patreon, because over on my Patreon, you can go over there and it's $5 to $13 and you get to subscribe and request an album. It just, the money depends on the length. So if it's $5, it's like 20 minutes, and if it's like $18 or something, it's 90 minutes. And yeah, the reason that my average rating is a 6 out of 10, and as you can see, my little bar, like my bell curve little over here, is towards 6 or 7, is because of the Patreon. There's 200 people over there that are subbed, and they all have the ability to request, and they're going to request good shit. They're never going to request bad shit most of the time, like 99% of the time. So all of these bad albums that I listen to here, basically were done before I had Patreon requests, and now I don't have the time to listen to bad albums, because if you can point out 200 videos a month is kind of a big workload. But yeah, so I think spiritually my shit's like 5 out of 10 average. If something's a 5.1, I think it's above average. So with that being said, I would say this is a 7. Like, I think it's a good track. I'm curious to see where it goes. Holy fuck, what is in my throat? Anyway, I'm scared. Holy shit. No idea what was in my throat. Anyway, I'm curious to see where this goes, depending on like how broad, like if the album stays broad, then I'm probably going to keep it at a 7. But if it, like, the album goes across like comes a bit more localized in a few of the tracks and gives a spotlight to that sort of shit, like I don't know, if you talk about police brutality, specifically police brutality when it comes to like First Nations people and shit like that, then like this might even go up, because holistically I feel like the album would do a bit better. But yeah, let's see how it goes. It's cool. Yeah. It's cool production and shit.
Get back. I ain't got time for the attack. Running with a bird, I'm stuck. Young brother sharp is attack.
This sounds like the KFC ad.
Romance simple for a rap. Like a blues you would lap. Time to start a ride. Where you at? Left side to the right side. Front side to the back. Stampede if you with me. We ain't tryna hear that. Left side to
This kind of sounds very Australian indie,
front side to the back.
like in those like post-punky sort of
If you
stuff.
with me. We ain't tryna hear that. We ain't tryna hear that. No point in arguing the values of the dawn. I look for empathy, the love was left alone. I tried to phone a friend and tell him where to go. You look for venom and you find. We ain't tryna hear that. We ain't tryna hear that. Fat cat, get him capsized. Greasy ass pig, get a backslide. Drown in blood and I'm baptized. You don't have the prize for the last time. Rats, you won't find love through a step. Tryna take a life for some cash. They just keep hitting with the tit. They ain't ready for the tap. Left side to the right side. Front side to the back. Stampede if you're with me. We ain't tryna hear that. Left side to the right side. Front side to the back. Stampede if you're with me. We ain't tryna hear that. We ain't tryna hear that. Give him my reply with a bet. Find out oligarch, get him taxed. Running out of time. No point in arguing the values of the dawn.
Lyrically, this one didn't captivate me as much. It sounds decent. Like, I think it sounds pretty decent, but like, it didn't. I know it's the single, but I feel like, weirdly enough, it's just the fact that I just came off of Vince Staples, and the fact that it's like 3 singles are the most like abrasive sort of tracks when it comes to like the subject matter that he's talking about. So I shouldn't be holding that against this. I guess like this track doesn't really delve into too much at all. It kind of reminds me of Dave. If I actually, that's a good example. I know, not to my own, I think it's a good example. Like Dave reminds me of this. Where like some of the issues that I had with Dave before the boy who played the harp was the fact that there was such a dichotomy difference between the tracks where he was like rapping about proper shit and then his singles would just come out of nowhere and they don't delve into the same sort of stuff, and then it's like layered with some imagery and like stuff of the stuff he was talking about, but it doesn't add a new perspective. And it's something the thing funnily enough it's one of the things that I really appreciate about the person that's funnily enough on my shirt, Kendrick, where his like bangers tie into the theme, the narrative, and the stuff he's talking about, and adds a new perspective to it. Like for example, swimming pools or something like that, or bitch, trying to something vibe. I'm sorry, I woke up just recently, but yeah, like those sort of tracks play into the narrative overall. While this one, I don't really see how it adds like a new perspective. It just feels like a single randomly plays into it, which I understand is like the reason that Dave does that shit, and it's the reason that like obviously Genesis does this, because you need those singles, especially for like industry sort of shit. Like you can't just have like a massively political album like the entire way through. You have to kind of hide it a bit, especially because if you want more radical politics, you do have to hide it a tiny bit more. And that's but like artists clearly have been able to do it, like with Kendrick when he's able to make political albums and then hide the not hide it, but like make like all right and stuff like that, right? Where it still adds to the album. Where this one, it just, for me so far, especially right off the Pirate Radio, doesn't feel like it adds anything. Which honestly makes me think I probably should give it like a 5. Even though it sounds alright. Like it sounds good, but I like the tone of like the instruments. This is cool. Yeah, so it's a nice take on it too. I do like Pirate Radio was the best on this album.
The fear intoxicating heathens drunk up off their face. The fire lights your flesh in a bewitching little way. The smoke continue rising, let the windows condensate. I can hear the screams, the ones that love, the ones that hate. The shaking all around us, let the walls dilapidate. The pitchforks rise and cut the lights off in the space. I don't need to see you, girl, I know you by your taste.
Now you a hell of a star. I saw you coming like lightning in the rain, that's who you are. Now babe, I got some advice. I gotta tell you, you gotta save yourself from who you are. I see that voice in your eyes.
I love this.
Yeah, Shay. I've been chasing a feeling. Got my eyes on the ceiling, gripping tight when I'm stepping 100 miles an hour. I've been edging with danger, I've been kissing on strangers, Russian roulette with bangers. I'm addicted to power, but what's power when you losing control? Hand gripping on the edge, a second from letting go. Praying
really
5
nice.
times a day, I hope that he watch my soul. But some shit you cannot just flush down a commode. Pray for me.
Touch the feeling, the world is burning. Come get a squeeze in today. I gotta tell you, I touch the feeling, the world is burning. Come get a squeeze in today.
Ooh, that's a great track. It feels like a unique take on the sound. It's real nice. It's like what I would want from something that sounds a bit more experimental. It's like the opposite of like JPEG Mafia's new thing.
Apathy is a grave.
No.
Don't let the numbness drug you.
Valid.
Earth, heaven, hell, what's the difference? Long I get to kick it with you. Earth, heaven, hell, what's the difference?
This sounds like it would be in Heartbreak High.
Earth, heaven, hell.
I haven't watched past season 1 though. Ooh. Ooh, this reminds me of some like Joji shit a bit. Like if he actually put some time and effort into his stuff instead of just releasing interludes. Oh. I do like hearing an Australian accent on this. It's so rare. I like this a lot. I do think, like, as much as I actually love this track, I'm not going to rate it too, like, low. Because, like, Stampede was, like, it was decent. Like, I think it sounds pretty good. But, like, I didn't get much out of it because of it coming off the back of Pirate Radio. But if I have the same sort of criticism when it comes to Stampede, where it's not really doing much, I feel like I kind of have to do a tiny bit similar when it comes to here. I feel like lyrically it has a bit more depth to it, like just a tiny bit, and I think I like the sound more. But it is a very interesting thing to have like Pirate Radio be the first track, and then we haven't really touched on anything much, especially with nowhere near anything overt. But I will say, as I said before, like I think it's kind of cool that the first track is kind of like that, the System of a Down sort of thing, where you just put the most overt track at the front. But it says political hip-hop, you know? And we're 4 tracks in, and it feels like only 1 track has been political. And then it's an Australian artist that's talking about only American politics. So... I like those synths. This sounds nice, I like it. Does Joji have an Australian accent? Because why does this sound so much like that? I love how heavy this beat sounds. Like it's like produced so well. I'll go like 8.5. I think it's pretty great to amazing track, but I am wanting to look for where the political sort of stuff is.
But there is a difference.
There's very Yeezus sort of sounds on these, I feel. Like the lasers, now this sort of thing, which kind of sounds like it. Which was my favorite part of the Yeezus.
Feel like I'm in a bizarro mirror world, active version collapsing, falling backwards, vacant smiles inside the eyes of the actors appearing normal. But one huff from the wolf will turn this house into Chernobyl. Everybody keeps smiling in my face like it's a motherfucking game. Like the sea ain't turned to stone and the acid in the rain. Like a dollar sign could clear the ethics, morals, and the shame. Elect a Nazi sympathizer top the motherfucking frame. If I could run away, my passport name would read Usain. You'll have to
see, like, I understand it because I'm fucking incredibly, like, I am incredibly tuned into like American politics when I should be more into Australian politics, right? But elected Nazi sympathizer top of the motherfucking, it's like, again, like, there's not much platform for, I feel like, political stuff in general, and I feel like if you're an Australian hip hop artist, it feels like you should talk more about this stuff. Like, I don't know. It seems so odd. Like, I do understand that he is like the fucking most important motherfucker. He is like, I hate him. Like, I hate Trump, bro. But like, fuck, we're Pauline Hanson. Like, she's rising in the polls a shit ton. Now she might like there seems to be the rights eating themselves. So it doesn't seem to be affecting like actual power at the moment or whatever. But like, surely we could talk like I don't know.
The heathen tried to shackle my soul, I nearly let him. Don't talk to me about pledges, anthems, keep your flags tightly furled. Dancing with the devil on the surface of a burning world.
I guess it is helpful to, it's helpful, I guess, for like people at large to realize that like American politics fucking infests everywhere. Like even in Australia, where like a lot of people are like, oh, we shouldn't care about that or whatever the fuck. Like, how does it does affect us. Like, just look at the fucking fuel prices. But yeah.
Eyes locked to me, felt the fear inside the air as she moved across the street. Should I blame her for seeing me and picturing a threat? Or the centuries of whipping that's keeping women in debt? See my cousin walk through hell, I'm surprised
I like this.
that we didn't lose her. Still you rap about bitches like you ain't a fucking loser. I ain't above celebrating the death of an abuser. I'll mark his body black and blue till I make a Yakuza. I'm past the point of prayer, but I still whisper to an empty sky. A silent cry subside, I spent too long inside the question why. The darkest slides play high with oil knives ready to colonize. I'll burn your rolling back, don't get too close cause I'm just killing time.
What I actually find interesting, let's just talk about like the points being made and stuff like that. This understandable. I also think there's an aspect to like women crossing the street that is uncomfortable, and obviously like most, like nearly every single guy seems to experience that, obviously. And I think it's understandable from their sort of like women's perspective. But then also on top of that, there's like an extra layer, intersectionality or whatever, when it comes to like if you're black and you saw like women crossing the street all the time. It's like, how much, like, where does the let's just say justified I don't know, experience of like, I don't want to use the word misandry, but like, where's the justified experience of like crossing the street when you see a guy start end and where does potential racism start, that sort of thing. It's like always that second guess would fucking drive me nuts. If I had to deal with it, which obviously I don't. Look at me. But yeah. And then also on the second point here, where he's talking about like I am not above like shitting on like the death of an abuser. I think that's incredibly valid. But also when we look at it through the lens of like progressive sort of shit, rehabilitation, like second chances, that also understanding like a lot of shit's like determinist. I understand when if you're personally affected, like for example, I had like a best friend that was brutally assaulted, and yeah, I would want that fucking person dead, but and if he died, I wouldn't give a shit. But on a societal level, and shit like that, if it's broader outside of your own shit, I feel like, and it's not impacting you, then I feel like you should lean towards grace, because that's how you get shit like better. Like if someone makes like a fucking offhand comment or whatever, that's like bad. Sitting them down and actually talking to them about it is obviously a lot better than scolding and that sort of shit. But yeah, like showing grace is the more progressive sort of attitude, in my opinion. But if it's like shit that's like, if it's an abuser that's obviously personally affecting you, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Like, I'm not gonna tone police that shit.
Something's wrong, I feel it in my aches, bones and chromosomes. They speak like moral men with the actions of Michael Corleone. How dare they pillage Gaza and still have the nerve to sleep at night. I hope your final flight comes soon. Trumpets and bassoons will sing in celebration when you meet your final destination. Pray right, the agony and hatred stalk your form like shadows in the daylight and make your brutish ways look like a play fight. Don't test my health, no weapon form shall prosper, whether man, machine or God himself. I know my field, I speak without caution, so I'm gripping tight my wheel. And if they martyr me, they'll know my name atop this hill until their name ring through the halls of the Bastille. I live in perpetuation. Your firearms too short to box with men who know integrity and dedication. The knowledge from my father. In moments close to hopeless, I may falter, but you'll never catch me stutter. You niggas dogs don't wanna hear an utter from you, not a word, turn a phrase. I don't wanna hear a mutter. It hurts to see my brothers in the state we in. CIA did that big one with us, and they'll admit the sin. The feds have the easiest job that I can hither. Crack your knuckles, boot up Twitter, disperse or whatever bitter. Say Africans ain't black, trans people are the sinners. Palestine hates gays, and keep your feet up while we bicker. And the play successful one more again. Divide and conquer, cause that color means he ain't your friend. I try hard to break the mold, but they encased us in. But even I find it hard to trust that your cool being scars from past that we starring in. The screams yelling, cacophony, tornado drummers breaking in. Still I keep moving, got some likes I
fucking love this.
It's hard to do right, structure got us in a headlock. Get a BLM shirt from a nigga in a sweatshop. It often seems gray like the hope has been removed, but still we keep moving. Fuck else are we supposed to do, motherfucker?
Fucking, it's real good. See, you know, like, when this verse is kind of something that would, like, in my opinion, go against what I was saying before, where like I would want it to be more localized. Honestly, the fact that not many people are like bringing attention to certain aspects of this sort of shit, and it feels like it has like a more poignant thing. It's not just like a protesting where I feel like Pirate Radio, where I was like talking about like the Elon Musk and all of that shit and like Kanye and shit like that. It was like protest. It's like I'm saying the things, I'm not adding like much poignancy to them, but like the fact that I'm saying it is the point, if that makes sense. Like the fact that I'm saying it is protest in itself, instead of making like the point, like it's not like I don't know, the stuff he was saying isn't like super unique thought or anything like that, but the fact that he's saying it on a song on a platform is the good shit, right? Where and that's the reason why I would have a bit of a issue where it's like, okay, you that song felt like a platform song where you talk about the stuff, and the fact that I'm saying it as it's formal protest, and that's platform in itself, and it's good shit. Surely we could do that about like Australian shit. But when it comes to this track, the way it feels like he has more unique ties, or it goes a bit deeper and stuff like that. So I'm less. It doesn't bother me if you that's not talking about it Australian shit that much. Like, talking about like, I guess like BLM shirt from a person in a sweatshop, and the fact that like the real fucking messy sort of shit when it comes to like capitalism, that sort of thing, when it comes to activism, because you're always going to be extracting from like the global South poor and shit like that, to better yourself, and like that sort of messy moral sort of conundrum shit. And then talking about how like a lot of like the culture war sort of shit online is basically fucking psyop sort of shit that's done just to make us bicker between each other instead of focusing on like the issues at hand, all that sort of stuff. Like all of the stuff that he's like grappling with when it comes to this verse, it goes a bit deeper than the first track, so it doesn't bother me that it's not localized, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think it's a great track. Sounds sick too. Shit just sounds nice. It sounds so textured. I like it.
Pitter patter, trickle dripping, boogie to the floor. Thirst for liberation, always knocking at my door. I can feel the pressure shifting every time I breathe. See a dark shadow always watching over me. Tracks behind me in the mud, trail behind like a python. Dust to the earth, cycle round like a dice song. Through the gray mist, see the horns of the slide, but my notes bite their ear in the ring. I am Tyson, better turn the lights on. Gray suit devils got their hands on our right, son. Talking like a gangster, you should see their bodies. Sound like funk flex through the night with the strikes gone. Sheesh.
This is good. I like how diverse this album is. It does everything quite fucking nicely.
Won't you put down your gun? The blast from your tool cannot box with the sun. Or rather point your anger at the billionaire toxic food corporate, the one that made your auntie live a jail and coagulate. Maybe at the magistrate who point you to the coroner. Abusers making ladies unsafe on the corner. Maybe at the candidate who's blaming on the foreigner. Anybody but your own brother, we need more of us. They be taking scores of us. Pander to the color for the vote, they so sure of us. Cards in their hand and they stingy with the trade. Then blatantly villainize the jokers that they made.
I just love it. Soul is just able to like dissipate your guard so well to take in the messages and shit. I like them. It's so crazy. Like, I would say when it comes to like the localized sort of shit, I feel like because of how broad he was talking about, like the like basically scapegoating the foreigner and that sort of thing, you could say that relates to One Nation shit. But also to like touching on that, like Australian politics sort of stuff, I guess like my channel, like I'm pretty sure 90%, like 95% of people aren't Australian here. So actually I think it's 97%. I think it's only 3% of my audience is Australian. But if we go into like Australian politics, we're currently facing like we have like the main two parties, which is like Liberal, which is like fucking center right and at times far right, depending on the politics or whatever the fuck at the time. And then you have Labour, which is like center left, and kind of goes into the same sort of like SOCDEM sort of territory that a lot of European countries go into when it comes to like workers' rights. But when it comes to overall, like, we've kind of ceded immigration stuff because our country is absolutely fucked when it comes to immigration. It lost like Labour 1 billion elections, like to the point where like we have such fucked immigration stuff. Like our current immigration thing is like, if you illegally migrate on a boat, we kind of just send you to a torture chamber in another country. Fucking crazy. And that's like a done deal. Like, we don't like the two major parties, they don't fucking talk how to stop that at all, and any sort of way to fix that, disregarded completely. Yeah, fucked. But we have that, and then this third party, because usually the third party is like Greens, which gets like 10% of the vote, but they don't have any power, and they just seem a bit obstructionist only. But like, the third party is like rising up a shit ton now is One Nation, which is heralded by this person who was kind of like following in the footsteps of Trump in a bit, but like been doing it since the 90s, where it's Pauline Hanson. She just does a bunch of fucking stunts that are like racist and just hates immigrants. She hates Asians, she hates Indians, she hates fucking Muslims and that sort of shit. And then now that like Labour has like something like 38%, which is our center left party, and then Liberals have fucking like 20% now, and One Nation has like 20% because One Nation stole all of the fucking polling from Liberals. And promise I'm going to go back to the foreigner thing. And One Nation has no party platform. It is literally just fuck immigration, fuck brown people, and fuck Asians. It's just, that's it. There's nothing else to them. They might vaguely posture towards like, oh, corporation bad, maybe, but literally, I can't stress enough, it is just that. There is nothing else to their fucking platform. And what I find so crazy about their like rise, right, is that like historically there's always been so much like the biggest, like all of the Islamophobia of like 2000s to 2010s, like it was always stemmed in massive part from racism, but there was at least like things you can point to when it comes to terrorist attacks and shit like that would be like, oh fuck, that where like people could get swept up in there actually thinking there is a threat. But for whatever reason, I don't understand how, but like with One Nation, like I've had personal experiences, my mum talking to like old friends and shit like that, going to parties and stuff like that, the amount of racism that is just so prevalent now when it comes to like towards just anyone really, but like Muslims and shit like that, like it's crazy. Like, it's so fucking apparent. Like, it's everywhere. I'm not even talking about anti-Indian racism, which by the way, like, it is just always going to be in Australia, it seems. Like, there's just always going to be that. Like, it is so common that, like, if you talk to a person and you mention an Indian, it's like India as, like, a thing, there's, like, a 70% chance they're going to make some fucking racist comment. It's crazy. But, what I was going to talk about is like when it comes to like the rising tide of like Islamophobia and shit like that, it's crazy to me because they're Muslims are a perfect victim now. Like, where before you could be like, oh, look at these terrorist groups and like try and tie them to that, which is racist in itself. But you could there's at least that. It's like Australia hasn't dealt with anything. Like, there's been no issues from Muslims or Indians, or there's literally, like, you can't even point to something. Like, in America, they might point to, like, fucking illegal immigration or some fucking, or, like, drug cartels or some shit. Like, they might be able to point to, like, they'll try and point to something. There is literally nothing happening in Australia. Like, nothing. and it's growing so massively, and to the point, and like the Nazi sentiment is growing so fucking much. Like if you're in, like I have heard this like multiple times, if I'm in a fucking line at a concert and I just like, if some, like for whatever reason, if Jews get mentioned or some shit, people or like Hitler gets mentioned, that people are just confident in public broad daylight in front of like 100 people all sitting down waiting for a concert. They'll be like, oh yeah, I think Hitler did nothing wrong, like, oh, like he kind of had a point, sort of thing. And that's everyone, like, so it's so common, and that's the like the scapegoating of like the foreigner and all that sort of stuff is so apparent in Australian politics right now, and it's crazy, like so fucking crazy. It's yeah, it's just it's insane, and it stemmed from nothing, like absolutely nothing. It's crazy. I like the swelling of instruments here. Good track. Good fucking track. Most normal American voter. See, like, there hasn't been a single track, you know? Like, not one? The Australian stuff? Not one? Feels very Triple J to do that. Also, like, not to be a little cunt, Um, not one mention, and we literally like, but by the time this came out, I don't know how his editing works. All right, so maybe he finished the album and he can't add anything after. But it's like, if you want to talk about Gaza, which he did mention, and if you want to talk about fucking politics or anything in general, bro, you could talk about the fact that you can get jailed for 2 years for saying, like, for saying shit at a pro-Palestine protest. Contentious things like River to the Sea and stuff like that, you can get 2 years in jail. Now, I don't know if people are going to actually get 2 years unless they're using it in the most, like, hateful manner possible or whatever the fuck. Like, they're singling out the most Jewish-looking person, hurling at them. I don't know if they're going to get 2 years for that, or if they're just going to, or if, like, the vast majority of people are just going to get a slap on the wrist. But either way, that law got passed, and that feels like something you could bring up, because that's something that also ties into, like, the worldwide sort of topic of, like, the political shit that's happening, and at least uses, like, current modern day examples of something that's happening in Australia, but that still ties to the worldwide sort of issues that you want to talk about as well. Like, I like this. I like that satirizing them. I feel like so far, I feel like it could be more scathing than this. Like, he could go harder here. I might even give it a 4. Like, I feel like he doesn't even go anywhere near hard enough. Like, he's making fun of them, but, like, it's such safe stuff.
Go zombie, feed on your mind. He say jump, you ready, fall it in line. Death goes zombie, think too hard in your plane. Come and get me, I won't live on my name. I live here, so are you following me? Mr. Master Race, but still no G.
GED isn't a thing in Australia. Like, it is, like, obviously you can get it, but, like, no, like, we don't use the term GED here. So it's like, it feels so strange. It is such an Americanized version of of an Australian hip-hop artist. I don't know. It's so interesting. I also massively agree with this. Mr. Master Race was still not GED. Like, if you look at any fucking Nazi little cunt, like, they look like shit. And which, I guess, bad lookism, I guess, sort of stuff to do, but, like, they always look genetically inferior, if you want to say, like, just when it comes to, like, prettiness. And then they stupid as fuck, like, stupid, like, unbelievably stupid, and not like, oh, they couldn't get fucking their GED because of, like, socioeconomic standards or anything like that, like anything outside of their like own control. Like they usually grow up in like all right households, but they're fucking stupid. Like they're just stupid. Like the amount of people that like, I don't know, that I wouldn't be surprised at the people in my grade that graduated with me. That I wouldn't be surprised if I, thinking off the top of my head, like 6 of them might have like master race sort of vibes to them. And those were like the people I'm thinking about there, like the most, they went to a private school with fucking rich parents. I also, funnily enough, like just a little tidbit, I went to that same private school, obviously. But I grew up with a disabled single mum, right? She got, she got a, I don't know, it wouldn't be scholarships, but they discount on getting paid to the private school. It was also a relatively, it's like a cheap private school, but like it's still private school, so yeah. But I did that for my last like 3 years, and I had no idea. I thought everyone like grew up in the same sort of socioeconomic status that I did. I just assumed everyone was just as poor as us. But it wasn't until I graduated and I went to like the after party for our formal, which is like our prom, went there, and this dude lived on like a fucking mansion on top of like a massive hill, and he had like 3 houses on the property, and I was like, oh, we don't live the same life. Like, holy shit, I had no idea. And he had a coke addiction, so it's just like, oh, what? All right. Yeah, I was so out of the fucking loop. Yeah, I thought everyone lived. I thought everyone had to like budget for like months to have a fucking pub lunch. I thought everyone had to do that.
Burning in the sun and looking British in the tea. Big chopper, I got your little taste. Cheeky little boy, want him to put you in your place. Watch the world burn with a smile on your face. Fear in your face, you so scared to be replaced. Think you a future billionaire, but your future's been erased. There goes on me, feet on your mind. You say jump, you ready, falling in line. That goes on me, think too hard in your vein. Come and get me, I won't.
I like this though.
Think you down with a sickness. I think you told your clansmen while I stare down a witness. And you take part while you working your fitness. Still can't figure out why you can't get any women.
Also, I did a fucking for my this is so fucking true. I did a fucking 20,000 word report thing for my final year in I'm on my final course, but like my final year for my minor in social studies about like men's issues and shit like that. And you can see polling and everything. The number one, and it's not even close, the number one issue. Actually, no, it is close. There's 2 issues that stop men from being able to have like date women, and for women to not want to date them. 1, they like Andrew Tate / Donald Trump. It's like 50% of girls instantly will say no to you. And then the second one, and it is 48% or around that. It's like I could be 1 or 2 percentage points off, but it's like 48%, and that is if you have a crippling gambling addiction. That's how bad it is. Like, dude, like, holy fuck, like. Crippling gambling addiction might be the worst addiction you could possibly have when it comes to a future and for a partner, because it could fuck all of your lives up. And and women, rightfully so, still put that as less important than if you listen to fucking Andrew Tate. Also, I will say it is a bit odd to quote, like, I wonder when his last album was, because it is interesting to quote Andrew Tate because he's fallen off hard. Like, it would with Struggler, I don't know what he's talking about there. Like, that's 2023. That would make a lot of sense to have a lot of, like, Andrew Tate sort of bars. But, like, I feel like Andrew Tate has, like, fucking no motion. Or very little motion now compared to what he used to have. I would say, I don't know, who's, like, a red pill little fucker, like, currently? I feel like, I guess it's hard to point towards someone that's, like, current day that has, like, anywhere near the same. Like, Clavicular, maybe. But that dude's, like, too autistic. I think, I don't know. I pick one of them. Yeah.
Uno card dealing. Could've turned out better if your dad showed you some feeling. Need a hug, you been deprived. Beat my chest, I still revive. Need a burn of future, so your info ass can feel alive. Yo, death goes on me. Feed on your mind. He say jump, you ready, falling in line.
I love the lyricism here. Sonically, I like it less than some of the other ones.
Come and get me, I
but I love his vocal performance. I love the lyricism. Very much like touching on like the fact that everything that this sort of like conservative death cult sort of shit, which is cool.
Of course I'm seeing it sorry. Leave me orange man, let me enjoy my Macaulay. That hobo look like Jesus, but you spit on his wit. You treat your Bible like a weapon, you ain't reading that shit. Can't believe we let the whole world get turned by Hank Hill looking motherfuckers. Bobby's on the block till the red corn suffers. Trade the white sheets for the blue life colors. Smoking the lamb and shedding. Pinstripe fruitless udders. Wind still sings my letters. Open the heart, still udders, still free Palestine. My blood about that, you don't catch me stutter. Dead goes zombie. Dead goes zombie. Dead goes zombie. You stupid motherfucker, you are. Dead goes zombie. Dead goes zombie. Dead goes zombie. You stupid motherfucker, you are.
I like it. It's a good track. The trading like the white clothes for the fucking blue line shit. So like that is so fucking. It's like even understated. There's so many fucking. If you look at like any ICE agents and shit like that, like there's been so many investigations where like they were just fucking Proud Boy motherfuckers, and they were just like people a part of like Nazi shit. And if you go to like, it's just so crazy how all of this, like, there's so much fucking misinformation where, like, a lot of the stuff that you'll hear, like, a mainstream media pundit say back in, like, 2016 or 17 about, like, the Trump administration and shit like that, they instantly got, like, hand-waved as, like, not true. Like, think anything to do with, like, fucking Russian and shit. Like, he quite literally, his campaign advisor quite literally went, like, got convicted for working with the Russian government to hack into the DNC with the, and that's how WikiLeaks happened. Like, it literally, like, their coordination was there, and he was convicted. But then Trump instantly pardoned him, and then they're like, oh, it's a lie, that sort of shit. And then we had, like, the same thing when it comes to, like, Charlottesville, like, and Unite the Right rallies and stuff like that. The idea of even Trump saying, like, there's fine people on both sides, when there fucking wasn't. Like, if you go there, it was unironically KKK members in fucking full KKK garb, with the fucking Dungeons and Dragons are shields and shit like that they have. And there's no good, fine people on both sides of that argument. Like, there's just not, because I don't know about you, but if I rocked up to a march, even if I thought, like, oh, fuck, I care about the statue for some fucking reason, and I saw a bunch of fucking KKK members around me, I'm dipping, because I'm not going to be in that fucking company. What do you mean? I'm never going to be like, this really matters to me. This statue really matters to me. I'm going to, yeah, I can look past the fact that you have a fucking white hood on. I can do that. Like, no normal fucking sane person that isn't a Nazi would fucking do that. Like, it just wouldn't happen. And stuff like that, where, like, there's, like, all of those people, all of these, like, lies and stuff like that, that just, these are all hoaxes. They're not. They're just straight up lying. And, all of that shit, like, it's so tied. Like, all of those people from, like, Unite the Right rallies, all that sort of stuff, they're in the Trump administration, or they're, like, they ended up being in Proud Boys, and then the Proud Boys stormed the fucking Capitol at the behest of Donald Trump and his, Roger Stone, the same dude that fucking did the, it's so stupid, this same person that got the Kremlin's help to hack into the DNC was the person that was drawing up blueprints the day before January 6th with the Proud Boys to then break into the Capitol, and he phone called Donald Trump on that day. All of this is literally verified in the court of law. Like, that shit's fine. That's just insane. All of these people obviously coordinating with each other, and all of them, like, Proud Boys, then, now, afterwards, we don't see Proud Boys anywhere. Why? Because they're in ICE. They literally just get on government payroll to then do their brutality shit. Like, they quite literally are trading their white hoods for fucking police uniforms and ICE uniforms, and then doing that sort of shit. Yeah, it's fucked.
No culture wars when there's bombing at your feet. Not left and right.
No left and right.
Just up and down.
Just up and down.
I like that. That's a good line.
'em up, put 'em up.
That sounds like it's gonna
See
bang.
your trial, see your situation.
Oh, I was singing.
I can see your face. When's the last time that you looked in the mirror? Question your belief, put your faith to the trigger. What is it you see? Yeah, you saint to your sinner. Can't make you drink, though I led you to a river. Funny how the rage feels so intoxicating. Nothing like a hate for a vibey sensation. Stomping in the yard, I can feel the vibration. Bridge been burnt on a cracked foundation. All your information.
Oh,
need
I like this a lot.
citation. What a funny idea for a coherent nation. But even through the labels, I can see your face, see your hate, see your yellow, see your love, see your fellow, see your one. I can see your face, feel my fear, feel my trouble, feel your mask through the rubble, see your one. I can see your face, yeah. Put 'em up, I can see your trial, see your situation. I can see your face. Put 'em up. Gotta be prepared for any situation. You should see your face. You may test my patience and boil my blood and sting my eyes when I hear your tongue. But we a coalition of the ones from the mud and move like a earthborn flood. But we look like ants down here to the top of the rudder. Ones up high just laugh when we suffer. So fuck we look like battling one another. Maybe we estranged but you still my brother. They up in the yacht but we in the same boat. So we may as well make sure all of us float.
Damn.
Can't stop us all.
This might be a top 2 song for me.
Castles gotta give to the folks like put 'em up. I can see your trial, see your situation. I can see your face. Put 'em up. Gotta be prepared for any situation. You should see your face.
At least an 8. What a great try. Great chart. I see that this next song has such an insane low rating compared to the other songs. I'm so curious to see what the fuck this song does to make people hate it. Because all these songs on Album of the Year has like 80 to 90s. This one has a 60. So I have no idea what the fuck this is. Usually that's for interludes, but this is 4 minutes long, so I'm assuming it's not. I don't see why this would have such a low rank compared to the other stuff. It's not offensive or anything. That's interesting. Honestly, I'll give it a 7.5 for now. Like, I think it's a good to great track. I think like the vocal effects there is very like unique, and I think it really works with like the emotion that it's trying to capture. It feels like it's one of the tracks that is the closest to piercing your soul. Well, like a lot of the soul stuff before sounds so fucking nice, but it didn't have that same effect as like like the D'Angelo or Freak Ocean or something like that, where it just like hits deep into your gut, like your chest. Didn't really do that as much. This has a bit more of that effect to it, which I appreciate. I like it. I don't see why anyone would put this like that much lower. I like how much of a left turn sonically it is. Used to live. Shit's fucking good, babe. Oh. Yeah, this is nice. People are weird. Low-key, I think it's a great track. I was only giving it a 7.5, I feel like, because of other people's opinions on it. But like if I'm just taking it for what it is, that shit slapped. Like it was really good. It's funny. I don't know if Genesis got like worked with like Netflix stuff before this, because I did look up in between some of these songs that this is actually on Heartbreak High Season 3, so I was kind of snazzy on that one. But I don't know if like his prior songs, if he has been on Netflix shows before, or if he has like post-punk sort of stuff on prior stuff. But I do find it funny that the album, if this is the first album to do like post-punk sort of stuff, I do find it funny that the one that does that ends up being on a Netflix show, because it's the most Netflix coded thing on the planet to do have like that indie sort of sound, especially when it comes to like Australian stuff, to then have like post-punk, that sort of vibe. I like the pacing of the album.
I can see you. I've been having the time of my life now. Better not run out of time. What I'm seeing is guts on the
It's not as political as I thought it would be. There's like a few tracks that delve into it.
all I see below my feet. I give it all
I do like his style. Like doing like a hip hop version of like a post punk thing and being able to meld those like very like seamlessly is a really cool style. Very unique.
Don't worry for me, I'm getting better. Lived every state, any weather. Don't worry for me, I'm getting better. Don't worry for me, I'm getting better. Lived every state, any weather. Don't worry for me, I'm getting better. I've been having the time of my life now. Better not run out.
Oh, that's decent.
What I'm seeing is guts on the timeline. I'm just following mine. I've been having the time of my life now. Better not run out of time. What I'm seeing is guts on the timeline. I'm just following mine.
Solid. Solid. I do think that is such a good fucking point. It's actually one of the things that made me appreciate like religion a tiny bit more, because I grew up in an atheist household. I'm still very much that way, but joy in the act of like as an act of resistance is incredibly important, especially like I guess like looking at like the Black Church and the history of the Black Church and shit like that. That recontextualized a lot of it for me. It even frames like a lot of like atheist sort of sentiment, especially like Reddit atheist sort of sentiment, in a more like racist lens, because or privileged lens, because it feels like when people are at the end of their ropes, they need like philosophy just in general as a broader topic is like the thing that's able to like like bring you out of the depths, right? As someone that's like, I would say hit rock bottom for myself, or went to psych ward, all that sort of shit, I would say that like I have a secular like worldview of like a philosophy, but it's like a rigid one. I adhere to, like I think like I don't know, who gives a fuck, some sort of philosophy thing. I adhere to that, and I think you need that for when you're in like a disprivileged position. You need that because it's the only thing. Like once you have nothing, all you have is faith, and that might be a faith in a god. It might be a faith. It just has to have faith in something. And mine's just the secular version of it, and to hate religion is to not understand its utility when it came to the most downtrodden. Like if we look at the history of Christianity, the reason that we don't have like any fucking like records of anything until like 200 years after the bloke died about like Christians is the fact that they were impoverished. They were the peasants, they were the people that were illiterate, that sort of thing. So those people needed that, and so Christianity worked for them in regards to that religion. And if we go over to like the Black Church, obviously a lot of like the best music and all of everything like that stem from the Black Church, and that I can't speak of it because I don't have a personal experience or like as much of a knowledge of it, whatever. But like I wouldn't be surprised if like religion played a crucial role in making sure that in civil rights, and just the fact that they could still have hope. It's like one of the things What's Going On by Marvin Gaye, when I first listened to that, halfway through I was like after the first track, I'm like, the thing that I can't wrap my head around is when it comes to like civil rights era and all of the racism and shit like they had to deal with. You had like Miles Davis making these like beautifully pretty jazz records. You had what Marvin Gaye, what's going on, having such optimism and that sort of stuff. And I was like, fuck, how? Like, I feel like if I was in that position, I could only make angry art. If I was ever in a position where I had that, like, even close to that level of, like, if I just take myself to my most downtrodden sort of parts of my life and stuff that I had to deal with, I would never do it, make art that's like super positive. It would be all angry, and they just never did. And not that they never did, they obviously did, but like these are like albums, they didn't. And I remember asking the first song there how that is, and then he kind of answered it at the end. He said like the things that, like, how do we save like the issues that are at hand in the 1970s, late 60s and 70s, is faith in God, faith in the future of your children and shit like that. And that wasn't the thing that flipped me. I already had the opinion that, like, I like a more positive opinion of like church and everything like that. But it just is kind of like a notch into that argument that, like, yeah, when you're at your end of your rope, it seems religion, faith, that sort of thing, it's all I have. So hating on religion seems like a silly sort of thing. And it's probably not a coincidence that religion gives you that joy, that space, and joy is a really good form of resistance, as he said in the last track.
I thought you people want equality. The type of shit you out here bumping in the front of me. I hear you flexing over nothing, I just suck my teeth. When global leaders shout out, that's a normal month to me. But you here talking like the guy, you're not that guy, pal. No obstacle will drop me down, your shit like Wipeout. Like combo lock so you can catch me out in tight town. Nobody born up with this flesh could be my master. You want me, you can come and give me a little bastard.
Big Dog is such a good term. Big Dog. I like the optimism more than the record.
I'll be out and on the wall. Always was, will always be. Riding through that gotta go. It's that air you never breathe. Heathens looking real hoarse. Better hop up off that ketamine. You be on that Gyllenhaal. Back there looking broke to me. Living like a black beetle. You just trying to send a beef. I'm just trying to let it be. I'm just trying to let it be. I'm just trying to let it be. I'm just trying to let it be.
I don't love how this sounds though. It doesn't move me.
The fire, I'm burning the diesel. Tableau emotional waters my ease.
I like this.
Through the eye of a needle. You looking dusty, you looking medieval. Tokyo love me like Daisuke, that's nobody keep up with my finesse. Name a young brother as hype as this. I hear music like I guess. Breathe, sunny, breathe. You gon' need it when I come around. Blood on the leaves. I done lived this since a little child. Fuck them on the key. How much of statues in your fucking grounds and show these leather.
Alright,
what it's like to hear champion sound.
At least that's a bit more of a try and then heading on the monarchy. Almost as trying as it gets to stay on the monarchy. I'll give it a 5. I think it's alright. I'm curious how the last track will end it off. We're in a much more positive note, so I doubt there's going to be as much call out sort of stuff, but it feels very thematically true to come back to this sound that we've heard all throughout the record.
It's the end of the party, nigga, pack your shit. Yeah, we had a good time, now it's time to hit. Wish you could look into the mirror, but that glass been chipped. I think the world that I knew was changed a little bit. Maybe the sun shines dimmer, the puzzles don't fit, or these bickies ain't as sweet as I remember as a kid. My brothers ain't my brothers, and it's lonely as a snitch who bumping Akon in the whip. The locust rolling at the tip of my ear. The drone is all I can hear. All the shit I'm watching happen is the shit that I feared. But as they fight to control us, restrain or hold us, still I keep climbing with Sisyphean boulders.
Very Sisyphean, yeah.
Do it for the love, keep the stocks for the holders. We gon' need a pad for all the blades that we shouldered.
But it's needed. Might be a Sisyphean effort, but you need to do it.
I still can't believe it's exactly how it seems, but here it is.
The, I don't know, famous quote was when it comes to like Sisyphean absurdity and everything. If nothing matters, then the only thing that matters is what you do. You just have to keep pushing the boulder up the hill and find utility in that, because even if it's a Sisyphean effort and there's no like goal and win or anything like that, it's necessary.
It's not forever, just for now. The sun will always set my child, but we gon' be alright, my dog. Yeah, we gon' be alright, cause I got you, friend. It's not forever, just for now. The sun will always set my child, but we gon' be alright, my dog. Yeah, we gon' be alright, cause I got you, friend. It's the end of the party, nigga, pack your shit. Yeah, we had a good time, now it's time to hit.
I think it's a
I've been
great
waiting
fucking
for Godot.
track.
Won't you tell me when you see him? Who was I to meet him? I stumbled as a fetus to a plane with black sand, a snake riddled and cracked plans, shuffled as a gift to naive little black hands. They call a law while I wait to see a tyrant. The cools of little babes are turned silent. The colors in the celebration seem less vibrant. It only seems to yell from the paint when it's called from a siren. The almighty man must have missed me in the purge. Got his hands on the world and the world in a scourge. Even when perturbed, gotta try for honesty. You blaming on your boots for the faults of your feet. It's always been tempting just to up and fall asleep, but sleep has a cousin, I don't have the time to meet. There he is, not forever, just for now.
I think this is an 8.5 in there. It's like way easily one of my favorite tracks.
Yeah, we gon' be alright, cause I got you, friend. It's not forever, just for now. The sun will always set my child, but we gon' be alright, my dog. Yeah, we gon' be alright, cause I got you, friend. Just call on me, and I got you. Hold on, my friend, cause I got you. Just call on me, and I got you. Hold on, my friend, yes, I got you. So it's the end of the party, nigga, pack your shit. Yeah, we had a good time, now it's time to hit, no. Yeah. Said it's time to hit, no. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Said it's the end of the party, nigga, pack your shit. Yeah, we had a good time, now it's time to hit, no. Yeah. Said it's time to hit, oh, oh, oh.
You know what's fucking weird? I know this is just like it could be over-indexing on album of the year tags by calling it racist, but you know what's a bit fucking weird? This one has angry as a tag, which I would actually argue not really. Like there's like a few tracks that like I'm passionate about the issues, and you could say angry. It's like 3 or 4. The entire record overall though is an optimistic one. Look how it ends, and like that's so weird to me. Because if you go to Kendrick's Damn, that one is like he is spiritually angry in that album, but it's listed as introspective. And that's it. Like it's introspective, conscious, and that's it. Like male vocalist, and it's like has like those tags. This one is angry. Is he really that angry? Like, I don't know. Damn is an angrier record. It feels really odd that the tags that this got was angry, because the vast majority of this album is not angry. You could even have a better argument that Crybaby is angrier, because it's like steeped into that more within Staples. Well, this, it's like, it's a few tracks, and it calls them out, but like, I could understand someone saying JPEG Mafia music is angry, but like, it's not even close to this. Actually, I'm curious. Let me look up, is experimental music listed as angry? Because it would be fucking weird if that isn't listed as angry, but this one is. Raw. And that, yeah, it's listed as raw. This one is so interesting. Angry. Is it punchy? I can get. That's a tag that has it. But angry? Is it really that angry? This feels like maybe you're a bit quick to apply that label to him, but as like a community. But yeah, overall, I think it's a pretty solid project. I like how everything, like, I will admit, like, I understand why this has inside, like, higher ratings than I have given it, because the production is really well done, like, technically. It's incorporating like many different cool styles together, so it's like unique in that sort of sense. And then it's political in the way that a lot of people appreciate, which is calling out like these specific people that want it, and I want them to be called out as well. But I think like it falls a bit flat for me when it comes to like the political aspect of it. Like, as a political hip hop album, it falls a bit flat. If this was like branded as like a neo soul album or whatever, or branded as like like, if it wasn't branded as like a political like overt album when it comes to that sort of stuff, I would be like, oh, it's cool that he's like interlacing some of this stuff. But the fact that every single person that I've ever mentioned, it's like, oh, holy shit, he goes like actually like nuts on it when it comes to talking about stuff. It's like he does cool shit like on a few tracks with what he calls out and like the references he makes and stuff like that. But like, it's not perfect to me when it comes to that. And yeah, it's good though. I and some of the tracks are fucking real nice. This one's really nice. Falling Both Ways is really nice. The Worldwide Scourge being one of the political tracks, fucking nice the way he does it. But yeah, overall, pretty good project. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, watching this far is important enough, but if you want to support further, you can go to my Patreon. And I can't do any albums that aren't requested on Patreon, so if you want me to do any Genesis Owusu, I think is how you say it, then I just need one person to sub on Patreon, all that jazz. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Absolutely love you. Peace.